lights are out and you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Hello race fans and welcome to the Stafford Motor Speedway. We are live here for the virtual American Short Track Tour. Ready for 120 laps of a feature here at Stafford. I am Liam Irving, joined up in the booth by Corey B. Corey, how are you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good here. Hopefully this Stafford 120 race for the virtual American Short Track Tour is good. You know, 2 15-lap heat races, a 120-lap feature later on tonight.
I can't imagine these guys putting on a bad show. We've seen absolutely incredible finishes throughout the course of this season and super good racing throughout the course of the field. Mo Perry, the first one up onto the racetrack, going to put down a qualifying time. We've got the left side open for you to see the best times and should show up to the top 20. Mo Perry, first one to take the green flag. We've also got Rob Hatton back, Danny Cochran, and Dominic Rossi out on the racetrack right now. Dominic Rossi in that mom and pop's Chevy. See what Perry can put down for his first lap.
19.6 flat there for Mo Perry on lap 1. So that's the goal for everybody else.
Danny Cochran with the 1935 gets up front, gets a little bit loose coming up off the second turn for his second lap. Slides way up the racetrack. That's probably not going to be good. Dalton Creech with a fast lap gets himself into second. See if Mo Perry can combat that. Rob Hatton back. Thomas Walter up to the top. Sean Huffstutler, Ollie Fonseca's out on the racetrack, and I tell you what, Aaron Kralik just jumped up to the top of the board. I want to watch one of these guys when they jump to the top of the board, so we'll see if Ollie Fonseca can do it coming out of 4. Goes up to 4th.
Well, driver
Joyce.
we might look towards here to maybe go into the 2s is Thomas Green. He was one of them up in the 2s. Now DeWeese is up top, but I want to see what Green can get. He took it slow here, lap 1. Let's see what he can get on lap 2.
Super smooth through 3 and 4. Let's see what he can get down. Gets up to 3rd place on the board with a 1934. Unable to get to the 2s, but man, he was quick in practice. He's got this 3rd lap to go, though, which is something I kind of forget about in this league. We got 3 lap qualifying runs. Thomas Green running hard. See what he can get across the line. 1941 doesn't improve, but he's sitting in 4th place. Isaac Shelley jumps up into 2nd. Christopher Smith out on the racetrack right now, sitting in 14th with his lap time, trying to improve. Jim Duda is just getting out of the racetrack as well. Steve Cigars puts down his first lap. Christopher Smith jumps to 11th place. Blaze Richardson also on the racetrack. Here's Todd Lamphere going through 3 and 4, going to finish up his qualifying run.
Jim Duda, another one that was quick in practice, hit a 19.3 flat in practice. See what he can get here coming out of turn number 4 for first qualifying lap. And he is going to clock in at a 19.523. See what he can do for your lap number 2 here.
Little more heat on the tires. He decides I'm going to pull it down, try to take one more attempt on a little bit cooler tires. Right now sitting in a top 10 starting spot. That'd be 5th in heat race number 2. Trying to improve is that 053 Jim Duda. Blaze Richardson out on the racetrack in the number 18. We saw him make his debut last week. Or not last week. We had Easter last week. And happy Easter to everybody. But a couple weeks ago, we saw Blaze make his debut. He's unfortunately not going to be able to put down another lap because hitting the wall there. But Jim Duda, he's going to be our last driver to finish out qualifying here. Jim Center, the only driver who hasn't put down a lap. Keep an eye on whether or not he's able to race, or if some of those storms down in the southeast, I know, was wreaking havoc on one of our colleagues a little bit earlier today. But Jim Duda jumps up to 8th, so he's going to gain 1 spot, start P4 in heat race number 2. But Mo Perry's still out here getting some laps down, just playing practice. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to get all the laps you can get around here, and it's a little bit of a flat track, half-mile flat, maybe a little bit more banking in the corners, and you'd see it maybe like a track kind of like Martinsville or New Hampshire.
It's probably similar to Martinsville, but yeah, New Hampshire is definitely flat. We've got I don't know how many degrees here. We can pull it up. It might not tell us on this graphic here, but we do know our track temperature is at 101 degrees. That is definitely hot. Going to be tough on these tires. It's going to get super slick. But yeah, I would say it's probably comparable banking to Martinsville, but the corners are wider. They're sweeping corners. The straightaways aren't quite as long as a track like Martinsville. But they are a little bit longer than, say, a track like Lanier or something like that. But it'll be interesting to see how these guys work these runs coming up off the corner. As Corey's kind of said before, it's almost a bit of a bottom feeder here. We've got heat race number 1 coming up. We'll go ahead and walk you through the grid here. Braxton Deweese, Aaron Kralik, Thomas Walter, Dominic Chisholm, Brandon Elvis, Justin Coleman, Todd Lamphere, Rob Hattenback, Blaze Richardson, Steve Cigars, and Owen Joyce round out the field here in heat race number 1. Our Mercy Medical Transportation Dash. Gonna be 15 laps to get her done here. Try to figure out the absolute best way, or try to get up to the best starting spot you can. And we know Braxton DeWeese has got some fans up in the chat. Chris DeWeese, always up in the chat. And definitely appreciate everybody who comes in here to root on their favorite drivers. Aaron Kralik in that 0-1 though. He's gotten a race win earlier on this year. Wants to get a second one. He's got a Commodore on that thing. That's almost V8 supercar style stuff. His car makes a hard left turn. It's in the hands of Braxton DeWeese coming up off of turn number 4. DeWeese hard up on the throttle. Green flag is out in heat race number 1. Braxton gets out to about a car length lead. Kralik can't get down. Here comes Thomas Walter down into second place. Dominic Chisholm trying to follow through. A little bit sideways, squirrely in the back of the field. Chisholm down on the bottom of Kralik here, and around goes Todd Lamphere in the back. He's going to get a 360. We are still green. He gets it fired up. Still green right now. Todd Lamphere, an unfortunate start to his heat race. Braxton DeWeese, however, good start for him. He's in front of Thomas Walter. Dominic Chisholm tried to chase him down. He saw Chisholm get up into the wall.
Yeah, absolutely good racing right now. Battle for second, though. That's Walter Chisholm. As DeWeese is kind of pulled away from those two drivers, and everybody's single file, but, you know, they're all right on the back bumper of each other. If they make one little false mistake here, they can open up a door for somebody.
And speaking of that, Dominic Chisholm is just waiting for that little false mistake out of the 57 of Thomas Walter in front of him. He's able to almost get the nose down in there coming up off the corner. Can't quite get the run. He's trying everything he can back here, but there's only so much you can do when you've got a car in front of you like that. Now you see a little bit of a wall scrape there. Looked a bit more intense there on board out of the 87, but now Brandon Elvis trying to chase him down. Aaron Kralik started second all the way back to 5th.
Yeah, so that just goes to show starting on the outside here is not where you want to be. Luckily for all these 11 drivers, they will be starting inside row on the feature. This heat race has a more significant advantage over heat number 2 later on.
I would
and
definitely
the more
have
spots
to
you
agree.
gain.
Yeah, Corey, you're absolutely right there, and you know, kind of. Well, we've got 9 to go here. Maybe kind of talk us through why this heat race is a bit more significant than the other one.
Well, I mean, you got the inside and you got the outside, and well, right now the bottom is dominant. I'm banking on this track. I did look it up. We have 9 degrees of banking in the corners, so not a whole lot of banking to work with here. 7 to 9 degrees.
Yeah, so that being said, it's going to be a bit more of a bottom feeder type of racetrack here. The inside lane, this heat race is what's going to decide that. The inside lane is going to be more advantageous versus the outside lane. You definitely want to get all the spots you can in heat race number 2. But even seeing how the guys on the inside got the initial advantage on this start in heat race 1, the Mercy Medical Transportation Dash, these guys are definitely taking advantage of the inside. Probably see a lot more of that in the feature, but right now we've got some single file racing going on. Braxton DeWeese, he's got 3/4 of a second of a lead. Dominic Chisholm still trying to figure out the best way around the 57 in front of him. However, at the same time, he knows it's not a pressing matter right now. He could start 5th in the feature with 4 laps to go in this heat race. He could start 5th and be in pretty good shape. It would be nice to start 3rd. If it happens, it happens. But I don't think any of these guys are really pressing too hard.
Absolutely not. They know their situation. Everybody's transferring on into the feature event. I mean, an extra spot here and there might be better off for them if it ends up being caution heavy in the feature. But if it goes green, I mean, He might be all right further towards mid-pack.
But we've seen just how difficult it is to get a pass done. It seems like you want to be able to get the run coming up off of the corner. But taking a look at seeing Kralik and Elvis coming up off of the corner, Elvis is just so much stronger off the corner. Kralik can't get the nose down in. It's really where you want to be able to get the nose in if you're going to make this pass. You don't want to... Oh, there's Elvis up touching the wall. Kralik goes down deep into the corner, touches the grass a little bit there. That's kind of uncommon for some iRacers, but a kid there. Braxton DeWeese holds on to the race lead, though. He's got 2 more corners to get it done. Comes up off of turn number 4. He's going to win the Mercy Medical Transportation Dash over Thomas Walter and Dominic Chisholm. Then we got Brandon Elvis, Aaron Kralik, Justin Coleman, Steve Cigars, Rob Hattenback, Blaze Richardson, Owen Joyce, Todd Lamphere. We got to rush through those because this next heat race is coming up quick.
All right, here we go. Heat number 2 for thank a first responder. Heat race 2 on the pole. You got Isaac Shelley. Thomas Green on his outside. Danny Cochran going to see row number 2 with Jim Duda. Row 3 you'll see Ollie Fonseca, Christopher Smith. Back in row 4 we'll have Dalton Creech, Mo Perry. Row 5 Dominic Rossi, Sean Huffsteller, and supposed to be gridding out there in the 11th. It would have been Jim Center, but he never made it back into the server. So we'll have 10 of them here for heat race number 2.
Yeah, tough deal there for Jim Center. We know he wants to be here, but unfortunately doesn't make the start here at Stafford. At least for heat race number 2. We're going to see if maybe he can get in for the feature, but nobody's going home like you said. 10 drivers ready to rock and rumble for 15 laps here at Stafford Speedway. Do you think this is going to be, do you think heat race number 1 was the calm before the storm, or do you think these guys are going to kind of have the same mindset?
Well, you want as many track position as you can get. The further up you can start, the better you're off you might be to finding a hole on the bottom. So, hard to say what these drivers will do. They might go all out demolition derby style, or we might have a good calm race here. But that Isaac Shelley in the 98 setting quick time on the night here at Stafford for the Stafford 120. I'll roll them off here. I'll see the restart box between the 2 cone, 1 cone, and here we go. Loud pedals down. Oh, look at the run Danny Cochran he has on Thomas Green. He's going to take well good advantage of Green back in turn 1. He washed up the track, but Green with the hard charge on the outside gets up in the wall, lost Jim Duda now to get to the inside.
And something I'm noticing here, Danny Cochran getting onto the apron to help that car turn a little bit. Helped him get around Thomas Green. We'll see if it helps him chase down the 98 Isaac Shelley in front of him. But man, that was a nice move there on the inside by Danny Cochran. Thomas Green able to get right in behind him. Recovers nicely in 3rd place. We got Jim Duda right behind him. Ollie Fonseca and Dalton Creech sitting just behind Fonseca. Got Huffstutler, Perry, Rossi, and Smith rounding out the field right now. But Isaac Shelley just put down one of the quickest laps we've seen in these heat races, a 19:44.
So yeah, about that apron that Danny was using.
Oh, and around goes the 9, Sean Huffstutler, and along with Christopher Smith. A lot of grassy area on the inside for these guys to be able to take advantage of, but the caution's going to come out for the first time here tonight in heat race number 2. Sean Huffstutler, Christopher Smith getting turned out of the inside. Let's go back, try to take a look to see what happened here. Gonna have to go back a bit further. Shows Sean Huffstutler. I know he got loose coming up off the corner. Maybe a little bit of contact from Perry. Might have been just a touch from Perry, but Christopher Smith seemed to go around on his own accord.
Oh, yeah, you see the contact. Mo Perry will back into Huffstutler, and then Christopher Smith just goes around on his own accord.
Yeah, nothing that Mo Perry did wrong there. The 9 was loose up in front of him. I'm sure he thought he was clear to his outside. It just didn't work out in that sense. One last little bump ended up sending that 9 around, but Christopher Smith also getting turned around. First caution of the night. Got 9 laps to go in heat race number 2. That Keystone Solutions 98 looking strong so far. These guys, I would assume, have 2 to green, given that Danny's looking up to the top side. And we'll get ourselves another quick look at how much the inside is an advantage versus the outside on a restart here.
Yeah, and as I was saying before, our caution flag there, utilizing that inside apron might help out on the short run, but you're going to burn your tires off a whole lot quicker than staying above it. It's a little bit more worn down there, and this a lot harder on the steering force. As they are doubled back up, we're going to see the green flag when they get out of that restart box. It's indicated by 2 white lines. You got first set of 2 cone, and then you got a singular cone. That would be your restart box. That's where these drivers can choose to fire, and they fire a little bit earlier, so I guess not.
Has Shelly Hart on the throttle there, gets out way in front of Danny Cochran. We'll see if Thomas Green is able to take advantage of the inside spot. He's getting all the way down onto the apron, all 4 tires there, but Cochran not able to use that top side to an advantage. Thomas Green's going to solidify himself in a second. We'll see if Cochran can get back to the back bumper there. Cochran touches the wall there just a bit coming up off of turn 4. That's going to solidify Thomas Green in second. Meanwhile, Ali Fonseca, Jim Duda. And I just wanted to get back to your point that you brought up. These guys going down on the apron, how much it's going to wear down the tires. These guys don't have an extra set or anything like that. These guys are going to start the feature. They're going to finish the feature on the tires they started on, which has been the case all year. But tell you what, when you go down, you make a move like that, you get down on the apron, use up a bit more tire, that's going to hurt you later on in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. But for these heat races, it's all fair and game to use it. And I mean, oh my, look at Jim Duda. He got real squiggly there. Had to chase the car around. Maybe a little bit looser of a track than we're used to in one of these cars.
It certainly might be. And, the wall is going to catch you when you least expect it coming up off of these corners. You're going to think you're good and then just clip that wall a bit. We're seeing some of that. And even on corner entry there, some of these guys trying to widen out their arcs, getting up, touching the wall with the right rear on corner entry. We're seeing a bit of smoke from that, but it's not hurting these guys. 2 more laps, though, for Isaac Shelley, who holds on to a commanding, I say commanding, it's a half a second lead, but Thomas Green might not have enough time to be able to chase him down here.
Yeah, definitely not going to have a whole lot of time here. Isaac Shelley's going to see the white flag at the line. 1 more half mile to go for him. See if Green can close it in. If he closes it in, it's going to be more or less a dump and run than a bump and run here. And it's not quite enough space to get there. Isaac Shelley's going to hold on to the lead, get the win in heat number 2. Green second. Cochran third. Duda 4. Fonseca 5th. Mo Perry 6, Christopher Smith, he'll bring it up to 7, Creech, and then everybody else.
I think Huffstutler and Rossi. It happens quick, man. These heat races, they end, and as soon as they end, these guys are ready to rock and rumble for the next race. They don't even give the heat race winner a moment to breathe. They just get right back on it, and we love that, That's it definitely adds to the excitement, but it's also real, The show's got to go on, and these guys get on the track, get ready to rock and rumble for the next one. Braxton DeWeese and Isaac Shelley, your 2 heat race winners. They're going to start off on the front row. We'll go ahead and show you the grid here. Give me 1 second. Yeah, go ahead and yeah, we got the grid here. So we've got Braxton DeWeese, Isaac Shelley, Thomas Walter, Thomas Green, Dominic Chisholm, Danny Cochran, Brandon Elvis, Jim Duda, Aaron Kralik, Ali Fonseca, Justin Coleman, and Mo Perry rounding out the first 6 rows.
And then you got Steve Sagers, Christopher Smith, row number 7, row 8, Robert Hattenback, Dalton Creech, row. What did I just say? Row 7, row 8.
I think we're lost on rows. But
I think we're lost on rows. We're on like row 9 or something like
row
that.
8, I believe, with Blaze Richardson.
Don't worry, boys. I've been shot out of a cannon, so my head's a little jumbled up here.
Sorry, we got Blaze Richardson, Sean Huffsteller, Owen Joyce, Dominic Rossi, Todd Lamphere, Jim Center, unable to make the show, and it looks like Owen Joyce might not be able to make it either here.
Yeah, he just disconnected stage left, so 20 of them.
20 drivers ready to go, 60 miles, 120 laps at the half mile in Stafford, Connecticut. Way up in the Northwest here. Not a usual spot for these drivers, but I tell you what, they're going to have just as much fun as they do anywhere else and put on a show for these phenomenal fans up here that get to watch those super lates or those super mods or whatever they are. Let's not get distracted though. Braxton DeWeese, Isaac Shelley coming into the restart zone. Green flag is out, and that's the best outside restart we've seen. Isaac Shelley up top, trying to get everything he can over Braxton DeWeese. Goes in a little bit wide. He's going to have to come in down behind DeWeese. Meanwhile, Thomas Walter, Thomas Green. Walter gets down to the bottom. Aaron Kralik's around. Jim Duda up in the air. Lands on his lid. Has to take the immediate tow. Aaron Kralik also involved. I don't know how much damage Kralik has. It looks fair for now, but
Wow, are you kidding?
yeah, a lot to unpack there. Let's we'll take it back from the restart. Take a look at this blimp cam because I feel like that'll tell the most. Kralik gets down to the inside of Duda. Oh, Duda got loose coming up off of 2. And wow, that car just rolled over once it hit the wall and landed on top of Kralik, and it almost ramped over once again.
Yeah, and Duda's car, that one tire just, I don't think it's gonna make it back out here. Not in time to be on the lead lap, but he might get a little bit of that fix, come back out a couple laps down. And that 0.53, tough break for him. Kralik looks like he's gonna get away with not as much damage as Duda, but definitely setting him behind the 8 ball. He did start back up in 9th. He's now in 19th. Still lead lap. It's not as bad off for Kralik.
No, definitely not. It looks like that car is in pretty good shape. Meanwhile, Jim Duda still on pit lane, taking a tow. But neither one of these guys, not the way you want to start this race, especially for Aaron Kralik, started up in the top 10, now down 9 spots in 18th. We're going to double up, though, and get ready for a restart here after the first caution and the feature. Lights are off on the pace car.
So we'll see what Shelley can do again on the green flag over DeWeese. DeWeese obviously has the advantage here. He can choose when to fire off. Shelley gets a gap in front of Walter. You got to imagine if he wants to take it like last time or if he wants to battle back with DeWeese.
DeWeese hard on the throttle, though, immediately. That's going to give... Oh, and around goes Todd Lamphere in the back. Caution comes out immediately. Not keen on that start was Race Control, especially with Todd Lamphere getting turned around. So we're going to re-rack, restack that one.
It's a little hard on the throttle.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
We do have Jim Duda. He's made his way back onto the racetrack, and timing and scoring looks to be a little messed up here. They got everybody in front of the pace car. I think they're sending them all around.
It really throws a loop for iRacing when the caution comes out before everybody has crossed the line. And I think that's a little bit of what you're talking about there, a little bit of what we're seeing, where some of these guys are getting waved around because they hadn't completed the lap. As of right now, it looks like everybody 1st through 19th is on the lead lap, so good job on the admins for getting that sorted out. I know I've seen oftentimes in official races where if a caution comes out before everybody takes the green, it'll mess things up, it'll pin guys a lap down. So, you know, good on the race control here for being spot on with that, making sure that doesn't happen. You see Jim Duda getting one of his laps back. He's going to be 2 down after this. And I know going upside down is not something you want to have happen at a race, but if you're going to have a problem, you want to have it happen early so you've got as much time as you can to recover.
Absolutely, and I mean, Duda's 2 laps down still. I mean, a little discouraging maybe for that driver, but it's a short track. Maybe catch a couple more lucky early yellows here.
And we know attrition can definitely be a thing in this league. They've got a hard out in terms of incident points. If you hit 28, there's no appeals, there's no dispute. Once you hit 28, you're out of the race. No, that's just one of the things these guys do to promote clean racing, but stuff like that doesn't hurt to stick around until the end to see if maybe some attrition happens. Oh, and what do we have here? Danny Cochran going around.
What?
We're gonna back it up a lap here. I can't imagine we'll take the green here. Looks like everybody's getting doubled up here. Chisholm just comes up and hits Danny Cochran as if he's not there. Not sure if Chisholm got the call to come up to the top side, but I believe we're getting an extra lap added so Danny Cochran can go back and get up his spot. You know, as they should. If the driver gets taken out of his spot in that way, well, Chisholm's down on the inside, so he's where he's supposed to be, but definitely an interesting spot.
Not sure what went on there, but I mean, maybe Chisholm thought he was supposed to be outside or lane, and
maybe he got told to let somebody go and didn't know the 2 was up to his outside, but guess we'll find out. Thomas Walter, Braxton DeWeese up on the front row. Isaac Shelley in 3rd. Braxton hard up on the throttle. Green flag out once again, and Thomas Walter up into the wall coming up out of that restart. That's going to give Isaac Shelley the bottom. Dominic Chisholm looking to follow through. Little bit of almost 3 wide action there coming up off of turn 2. Mo Perry's in the wall. We've got a crash. Ollie Fonseca, Mo Perry. Somebody was upside down and everybody's driving away.
Looked to be the 42 that might have went upside down.
So these guys definitely... Oh, Mo Perry got into the back of Ollie. Ollie sitting in the middle here. Contact with the 16 sent him up and almost over. Then the 16 almost also pops up out of the right side there. Everybody's driving away though. So I think Fonseca maybe thought he was still 3 and was given extra room up on the top side. Got down, clipped to 16. Both of them smacked the wall pretty hard.
Yeah, heavy damage here on the 16 of Steve Seegers as well. He's going to drop a lap here as the pace car is... maybe not. He might have gotten away with that.
Yeah, the pit exit goes down a little bit further to the inside, so that 16 might... Yeah, he's A-okay. You save a lot of distance going down that way, so... Good on that 16 crew getting it back out without losing a lap. But you saw the damage on the front end of that machine. It's not going to be an easy recovery. No fasties up in this one either, so it's...
No magical wand repair here in this league. And you see Jim Duda, he's now made it back to 1 lap behind of the lead lap cars. He's going in there, fixing up a little bit extra damage as field is pre-doubling up. Lights are still on the pace car, so no harm, no foul to come in and get a little bit of that damage control.
Oh, and Duda is loving to see these cautions in front of him. He's the only driver 1 lap down so far. So he wants 1 more to get him back on the lead lap. He's coming out of the pits now as these guys come across the line. The lights are going to go off on the pace car. Braxton Deweese, he's led every single one so far. We're 17 laps complete in this one. Lap number 18. Won the pole, won his heat race. Now he's trying to complete the Grand Slam. All he's got to do is run the fastest lap. And I tell you what, we'll have that... Yeah, he's got the fastest lap so far. We haven't had a whole heck of a lot of opportunity for green flag racing. He's the only one to complete a green flag lap. But we'll see. Braxton Deweese, Isaac Shelley up on the top side. Deweese a little bit up in front. Now Deweese goes Chisholm up to the inside of Shelley. A little bit of contact there entering 1. Braxton Deweese out in front by a car length. Chisholm gets 2nd place away. Here comes Thomas Green rather to the inside of Isaac Shelley. Unable to keep that momentum down on the bottom. Side by side between Danny Cochran and Brandon Elvis.
Good racing, got a lap in without a caution here. And you see right there behind Cochran, that's Dalton Creech and Justin Coleman. Coleman with the Scott Bloomquist paint there. That's pretty cool. Bringing a little dirt action over to the paved side.
Yeah, I love that. You can see there on the door the Scott Bloomquist skull. Oh, well, not the skull, but the style. Rocking that 14 machine. Justin Coleman, he's up 2 spots from where he started. Tell you what, though, Blaze Richardson. Oh, and around goes Mo Perry. Gonna keep her straight there, but a big sideways moment out of Mo Perry. Now he's sideways again. Trying to keep it out of the way. Clipped a little bit more grass, but Blaze Richardson, he's up 6 spots from where he started in 17th, rocking that 18 Plaza Pizza car. One driver who's gained, the only driver who's gained more spots is Dominic Rossi, sitting in 13th from 20th place. That mom and pop's Neil Bonnet kind of throwback there with the Junior Motorsports on the back end. He's worked his way up 7 spots in the early going of this race, but all eyes are on Braxton Deweese, who holds out of the race lead. Alan's Art Images loves it. Tonight is our night number 8. Callie Allen says, "Hey, Chris, happy Sunday, great weekend." Probably talking to another chatter. Yep, Chris says, wrong car on the post. Kerry Hopkins says, let's go 8. So we've got a lot of 8 fans up in the chat, but I tell you what, if you're tuning into this race, go ahead and drop who your favorite driver is. We'll get them some screen time. We'll talk about them. We'd love to see Braxton Deweese and the Braxton Deweese fan club up in the chat, but we also want to give some screen time to everybody else too.
Absolutely. Lap 25 in the books here. Hold under 95 to go.
Blaze Richardson is all over the back bumper at Dalton Creech here. Creech got a little bit loose coming up off of turn 4. Richardson slides wide. Now Kralik is all over the back bumper of Richardson.
Kralik, one of the cars involved in the lap 1 incident, trying to make his way back up to where he started. He's a couple spots away from that. Riding there in 11. Oh, a little slideways there out of Blaze Richardson in front of Kralik. Kralik now gonna, oh, he thought about going on the outside of Richardson and thought better of it.
Yeah, Richardson used up all the racetrack he could coming up off of the corner, and now once again he jives it down to the inside of Creech, just unable to use up all the racetrack he wants to. You see him sliding onto that apron, and Corey, you talked about it in the heats. That's not necessarily going to be your friend here in the feature.
You can use it a couple of times, and then after that, your tires are going to be gone. But you see there, Creech was up in the wall. Richardson now back on the very, very bottom, maybe a little too far down for Richardson out of corner exit. He needs to be a little bit higher up.
Creech is not giving him, he's not giving him the space coming up off though. Creech will go a little bit wide up into the corner, and Richardson will be able to get down to his inside, but Creech is just so keen on running that white line. Richardson he's giving him the space. They're racing each other respectfully, but he's just unable to use all the racetrack that he wants to, and that's, you know, as this gets a little bit later, you're going to have a little bit less patience when drivers start to take away your line like that. If you're diving down to their inside and they want to pinch you down, you might use your fenders a little bit more. Right now we're 31 laps into this one, 32 laps complete as DeWeese crosses the line just in front of these guys. Still a long ways to go, 90 laps, 85 to 90 laps left in this one, but you can see already Richardson, as Kralik has given us a phenomenal shot over the course of the last 5 or 10 laps. You can see Richardson might be getting a little bit less patient as these things roll on, as these laps roll on. Sean Hufstetler's in the pits. Not entirely sure.
He's got a meatball.
Meatball for Sean Hufstetler. Might have been some contact. I mean, definitely some contact. Not sure if it was the wall or another car, but Hufstetler getting that car serviced. Braxton DeWeese leads by 1.2 over Dominic Chisholm. Isaac Shelley sits in 3rd place. Thomas Green in 4th. Go ahead and see what happened to Sean Hufstetler here. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Right the wall.
Yeah, he did. Caution has just come out. Aaron Kralik has crashed. It says he crashed. That's the only notification I get. So he might have had a quick spin here behind these guys. See Richardson getting down up in there on Creech. These guys get together coming up off of the corner. Kralik now to the outside of Richardson. Oh, a little bit of contact, a little bit of net code. I'm sure the contact would have been made either way, but he wouldn't have lifted his tires up off of the ground without the net code. So that brings out caution once again. 4th time today. 38 laps into this one here at Stafford Speedway.
So now Jim Duda, he'll get put back on the lead lap. 19 of them. 1 DNF already. That's Sean Hufstetler taking it to the garage. Owen Joyce Gym Center never started the race. So 19 of them on the lead lap. 19 cars on the track. And Ollie Fonseca took a pit side, maybe for damage control, maybe fuel. I'm not sure on the fuel situation.
I think these guys are good on fuel. I think it's mainly the 150 lappers at the longer tracks that they tend to have to make that pit stop at. A track like Bristol, a track like Wilkesboro when that comes up. those longer tracks though, those are really good. Five Flags was one especially, where the field was a stretch, but not going to be a concern here tonight. Only 60 miles.
And we go from this week at Stafford on a flat track, half mile, and next week we're going to see New Hampshire, another little flat mile as well.
Yeah. You said two things there. This is a half mile here, a flat half mile. Next week we're at a flat mile of New Hampshire. Those straightaways are going to be huge in terms of these drivers being able to keep their momentum going. Therefore, I'm going to guess you're not going to be able to have as much aero damage as you're able to have at most of these other tracks. Super long straightaways. That track's actually just over a mile. I think it's 1.06 miles.
Something like it.
Yeah.
I mean,
So technically it's the longest track we're going to run this year. We ran Dover. That one was a mile even.
we ran Milwaukee mile as well, so
Yeah, we did. That was another even mile. But not so even on the restart. Braxton Deweese gets a long, strong. Dominic Chisholm gets away in second. Big time checkup here in the middle of the pack. Steve Segar's in the middle of that. Thomas Walter has had himself an issue there. We stay green flag for that. We'll go ahead and double check that in just a few moments. Braxton Deweese over to Dominic Chisholm, Isaac Shelley, Thomas Green, and Brandon Elvis. Coleman down to the inside, sends it in on Creech. Creech giving a lot more space.
Coleman there in the Bloomquist looking late model. Oh, Creech a little bit washed up in the corner there. Gonna try to pick the momentum up. Not quite. He's gonna elect to fall in behind Coleman. Now you see Rossi there behind him in the black and white 03.
Blaze Richardson trying to work his way through the pack, but Dominic Rossi, our biggest mover of the day so far, he's up 12 spots from where he started the race, 8th place from 20th. Let's go ahead and ride on board with him as he chases down Dalton Creech. You see massively different entry styles here into the corner. Had to check up a little bit in the middle of the track, but coming up off of the corner, able to hold that 1 car length gap. Tell you what, let's go ahead and take a moment to listen to the sights and sounds of these cars. We'll go ahead and turn it up for you guys, and we'll be right back in just a few minutes. Big crash down the front straightaway. That's going to bring out the caution for the 5th time today here on lap 51. Danny Cochran down on the inside. Looks like Dominic Rossi was also involved there. We saw a big moment there coming across the front straightaway. We're going to go ahead and unpack it for you. All right, we'll slow it down. Looks like Creech gets into the back of the 3 car, turns him up into the fence, and that fence has been so good at turning people over. The 3 car almost turns over, but stays on all 4. Richardson gets
18.
involved as well. Cochran
Can
looks...
he get through?
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like he just kind of takes avoiding action there, taking the inside lane and then the exit lane up off of pit lane.
Creech rode the hood there of Richardson for a good half a second. Wow.
Yeah.
Imagine having a car on your hood.
We'll have to keep an eye on that 18. He's in the pits right now for some damage repair. There was a lot of hefty hits there, but I tell you what, Jim Duda, he's a guy who's going to take advantage of this. Seeing these guys getting hurt in front of him, knowing that he's going to be able to come in, get a couple more seconds of damage repair done, get back out on the track. He's on the lead lap, and he's just gained 3 spots by hanging in there. So, you know, props to Jim Duda, hanging around, keeping it in here after a very tough first lap. Took him about 40 to get back on a lead lap, and now 55 laps into the race, he's up into the top 15. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in live on Sim Racing Media. Go ahead and drop your favorite drivers up in the chat, but if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you never miss a race. We've got fantastic racing 7 nights a week. And I tell you what, we've got our Super Tuesdays that have, I believe, 5 or 6 different shows. So no matter what kind of racing you're into, something's going to tickle your fancy. Tune in live on Sim Racing Media every night of the week, every chance you get. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We've got another restart coming our way, Corey.
Yeah, here we go. Braxton Louise on the point still. Here at the Stafford 120 on the loud pedal for him, but he's going to bring Dominic Chisholm. Chisholm almost timed that perfectly. He'll get down on the inside now. He's going to look to the inside of Deweese. He's to the quarter panel. Here we go. We got a race for the lead up at the front. Chisholm on the inside trying to get to Deweese. He is still there. A little contact fender to driver's door. No harm, no foul. Deweese, wall contact there. Still door to door.
I tell you what, Deweese holding on to the race lead for now, but now Dominic Chisholm takes the race lead, gets clear. Deweese comes back down to the inside. He's going to try to keep the fight going. A little bit of a crossover move. Now Dominic Chisholm has to move up to the top side. The caution has come out, though, with Dominic Chisholm in the lead. Dominic Rossi, well, Danny Cochran has gone around. Dominic Rossi never left the pits there. Definitely swept up in the race for the lead. Let's bring you the caution flag reason here. Danny, oh my goodness, Dalton Creech goes upside down. So a little bit of contact there from the 99 Rob Hattenback sends the 2 sideways. The Ali Fonseca machine finishes the job, but the 36 Dalton Creech takes a wild ride here. Gets clipped in the worst spot, goes up and over. Thank goodness the spin puts him back on all 4s. Looks like Ali Fonseca got a piece of him. Kind of kept him from spinning more. Puts that 36 back on his wheels. So he's able to drive it back to pit lane to assess that damage.
So Rossi had a black flag there, and Creech had the meatball. They've got that all fixed up to where he doesn't have one anymore. Still going to go a lap down for Creech. His field is passed. Rossi, he's gone down 4, serving his black flag.
You know what the black flag was for?
No.
I'm not sure either. Well, tough break for Dominic Rossi there. He's down 4 laps, 5 laps now. It's about to be. So tough break for him. He was our biggest mover at one point. Now sits in 19th in front of Sean Huffstetler, our only DNF.
Creech getting away with only going 1 lap down due to his meatball damage. So 1 caution, and as long as he's not involved in it in any sort of way with a 0X, he'll be all right for getting a lucky dog.
Yes, sir, and that's just going to give him all the more chances to fix whatever damage is still on that race car. You know, he took a hefty hit in the right rear. Going upside down can't be great on the car either, and then coming back on all fours. These guys are going to have a lot to look at as we get 1 to green here at Stafford. Just past halfway, 61 laps complete, going to be 62 as they take the restart. Dominic Chisholm is the race leader now, got around Braxton DeWeese on the last restart. We'll see if DeWeese is going to be able to pull the same move that Chisholm did. Isaac Shelley sits in 3rd place on the inside lane. Then Brandon Elvis. Then, of course, that filter time machine, Thomas Green up in 5th.
Chisholm just took the lead away from DeWeese before that yellow. See what he can do. On the loud pedal for Chisholm here, he gets out in front of DeWeese. DeWeese not going to be able to get to the inside. Might have thought about the bumper there. Not quite going to do it. He's definitely upset that he lost the lead to Chisholm here. He wants it back.
Yeah, you're absolutely right as DeWeese looks down to the inside, getting all up on the back bumper. No, DeWeese rides the wall just a touch there. Isaac Shelley looks to his outside. DeWeese now way up the racetrack, holds on to 2nd place. Isaac Shelley looks down to the inside. DeWeese doing everything he can to hold on to that spot up on the top side in 2nd place. Holds on to the spot. Mo Perry got big time loose coming up off of turn number 2. We saw at the back end of our screen, but we weren't going to take our eyes up off of this battle here as Braxton DeWeese now sits in 2nd. He's got himself a challenge to get up in front of Dominic Chisholm, who's just over half a second in front of him. Isaac Shelley all over the back bumper.
Just a little bit of wall contact out of DeWeese allowed Chisholm to pull away. Shelley, he's kind of taking it patiently here on DeWeese. He understands the situation. Still a little under halfway to go. A lot of race to get it done here, and here we go. Isaac Shelley now to the door of DeWeese. A little contact, maybe. Oh, my. Good race right now for a second. That's Shelley in the red car on the bottom. DeWeese in the green up top. Able to keep the momentum over Shelley, but Shelley advantage down low. He gets out in front of DeWeese. Now DeWeese under pressure from Thomas Green in the blue car. Oh, DeWeese once again
up on the wall once again. Thomas Green has to take big time evasive action, but Braxton DeWeese's race is falling apart now as he's hit the wall 2 times, both times getting significant contact and getting significant air time. Now Thomas Green getting down to the inside. Braxton trying to hold on to the top 5 spot, sitting in 4th right now. Brandon Elvis looks hungry down on the inside, but unable to get down to the inside. Braxton DeWeese falls into 4th.
DeWeese has a little bit of breathing room now to his back bumper of Elvis. He gets up there underneath.
Yeah, he's getting under Green. Green into the wall that time. DeWeese up into Green. Had to check up just a touch, but I tell you what, DeWeese is hungry. He knows how fast his car is. All these guys touching the apron. You see how loose Thomas Green's getting up, coming up off the corner. Tell you what, these guys, they are giving it 100%. 70 laps complete this time around. These guys are not giving up an inch any corner. And we've got a gaggle of cars here racing around for 10th place.
Yeah, good battle back there for top 10. That's Christopher Smith in the white car on the inside of Mo Perry in the purple car. And right behind them, you got Danny Cochran. He's going to send it in on Mo Perry. Try to get to the inside of Perry. Oh, almost had a little contact quarter to quarter there. Now he's going to get to the door.
Perry's not keen on giving room. He's been one to race hard, that's for sure. Danny Cochran down to the inside, trying to take away now 11th place as Christopher Smith has gotten away from these guys. Thomas Walter just behind these guys. He started up front, hasn't had the race he's won, and definitely wants to get back up into the top 10. And look, just behind these guys, Jim Duda sits in 14th place. Had himself a strong recovery after going upside down and taking a tow on the first lap. Jim Duda sitting in 14th place on the lead lap, trying to figure out a way to get up into the top 10.
Absolutely, there you go. Walter out in front of Mo Perry there. Now Jim Duda going to send it in. He's door to door with Mo Perry. This is battle for 13th here.
Thomas Green having some sort of blinking issues there. Right in front of Braxton DeWeese, and I tell you what, we know how he's raced since he lost the lead. A blinky car is not going to phase him. I always say you can't pass what you can't see. You can't hit what you can't see. I'm sure DeWeese is on that same kind of mindset. If he can get in there any way he can, whether it's him sliding up or him disappearing, he's going to take advantage of whatever he can.
Well, I say if they blink out enough, I'm going to ride right on inside of them, and we're going to have two of us working together.
That Alan Hart Images number 8. It's still the throwback from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s amp car we've got going on.
And according to Chris DeWeese out there in the chat, Braxton, he's having issues with his headset, not able to have the audio from in cars. So maybe that might play a factor here on him.
Oh, it's gotta be, dude. I tell you what, when I race, I am reliant on hearing where my engine is, hearing just the revs. I don't know, man. That's gotta be completely bonkers, not being able to hear your revs, if that's the case.
I mean, I've lost sound once before on a street stock race at Oxford, and oh boy, it just changes the whole. I mean, it just changes the whole entire thing of how you race. You can't hear your car, you can't hear what your tires are doing. You just gotta guess based on visuals. I mean, it's so hard, and I know somebody else that lost audio one time and actually won a race with it.
And who might that be?
That would be a teammate of mine, and that was in a Coca-Cola 600, believe it or not, and he lost about before lap 100 of it too. So, well, if you know how your car can drive, you can get away with no audio, but definitely a little bit disadvantages for Braxton DeWeese. He's back and forth still, holding on, strong top 5, all things considered.
Still all over the back bumper of Thomas Green here. They're catching up to Isaac Shelley a bit. Meanwhile, Dominic Chisholm, he's gotten himself out to almost a 2-second, or about a 1.5-second gap over Isaac Shelley. 35 laps to go, roughly. We've got 37 at the line. Here comes DeWeese down to the inside of Thomas Green. Gets down in there, touches that apron a bit, but uses up all the racetrack he can. Thomas Green strong up on the top side.
Still door-to-door of Thomas Green there for Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese, no audio there in that car. Just trying to see what he can do.
Little bit of contact coming up off of the corner. This Thomas Green trying to get back into the back bumper. He touches the back bumper. Can't get to the inside. Braxton DeWeese back up into 3rd place. Thomas Green dives in and back to the inside. All the way on the apron. DeWeese gives him the space. Thomas Green back on the apron. DeWeese with the run up on the backside, or on the top side, rather, I should say, on the back straightaway. Oh, and Thomas Green gets into the back bumper of him. That honestly probably helped Braxton turn a little bit, as he's now got half a car length separating him and the 3 car. Excellent action. This short track action is phenomenal. Corey, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Absolutely. I love the short track action we got here, and we got about a straightaway before Chisholm would ever catch up the lap traffic, so he's sitting pretty out front. Isaac Shelley, he's pulled away now from DeWeese. He's about a little over a second out in front of DeWeese. So your front 3 have all separated each other.
Braxton DeWeese continues to increase this gap over Thomas Green after he was able to get around him. It's 4 car lengths now in this top 3. 2.5 seconds separates them. There's going to be 31 laps to go at the line. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break here on Sim Racing Media. We'll be right back with some more fantastic racing action. Back live here, you see Aaron Kralik racing behind Brandon Elvis, trying to figure out a way around. A couple of these guys touching the wall when they arc up the corners. Trying to chase down Thomas Green, who lost the position to Braxton DeWeese. DeWeese sits in third place, about 2.6 seconds off your race leader. Isaac Shelley in second. It's a 1.28, 1.29 second gap between him and the race leader, Dominic Chisholm. 25 laps to go next time around. These guys are absolutely putting on a show, and Dominic Chisholm is putting on a clinic.
Yeah, Chisholm was able to take away the lead off of a restart on DeWeese about right before halfway mark. And ever since, he has just checked out on this field here. Shelley running there in second. He's got a good gap between him and DeWeese. DeWeese, a good, solid gap back to Green. Green has pressure there behind him. That's Brandon Elvis in the 80 in the 054. You can see the 54 on the door. No 0 on that car.
No, he's trying to steal the 54 from Mo Perry, who was here first, but Brandon Elvis out here in the 054 on the scoring. It's a 54 car. And, you know, a lot of these regional short track races, they end up having a lot of cars with the same numbers. So generally you get some sort of discrepancy or, you know, whatever. And that's kind of what the 054 is doing here.
Well, you know, everybody likes their favorite number.
Oh, for sure. I would definitely be running the 54 if I was in this league. That's been my favorite number for ever, before Kyle Busch ever ran it. And, yeah, no, I'd be running it too. I would just have to find a different discrepancy for it.
You could be 154, and I could write you the word 1 in front of it.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I'll go with the 34. You'll go with the 154. There you go.
Let's do it. We just got to try to find another crew for Sim Racing Media to broadcast this show, because if we're going to be racing with it. Yeah. All jokes aside, I don't know if I could race with these guys. I ran some laps with them earlier, and I was way off the pace with what these guys are able to do. Dominic Chisholm holds on to the race lead with 20 to go, coming to 19 to go. He's got Isaac Shelley 1.6 seconds behind him. Braxton DeWeese, Thomas Green, Brandon Elvis. Brandon is he's got Aaron Kralik all over him for a top 5 spot. Aaron Kralik trying to get up in there, and your guy, Justin Coleman, that Scott Bloomquist style paint scheme, he's sitting just outside of the top 5. He's up in 7th. Seeing this battle up in front of him, you got to think he might be getting a little hungry.
Absolutely, less than 20 to go here for these drivers. I imagine Justin Coleman, he wants to look for a top 5. He's loving the battle in front of him. Slowing those guys up a little bit, allowing him to close in every single lap. Seems like he's a little bit better out of 3 and 4 than all 3 of them. Kralik there, a little contact with the back end of Elvis, had to check up, and now Coleman is there. Look at that.
Yeah, Thomas Green just in front of these guys. Still kind of holding Elvis up just a little bit. Kralik doing everything he can to get down to the inside of Elvis. Elvis sits in 5th place, Kralik in 6th, Justin Coleman in 7th. Then we've got Steve Cigars, who's made a strong recovery after getting crashed earlier on. We saw him get pointed head on towards the wall, along with Aaron Kralik. A lot of good recoveries out of drivers here. Danny Cochran, we saw him get involved in a crash early. Thomas Walter as well, involved in the first lap caution. Christopher Smith got spun down the back straightaway. Ollie Fonseca, he was almost on his lid at some point. Rob Hatton back as well, and then Jim Duda sitting in 14th. He's had himself a strong recovery after going upside down on the first lap, having to take a tow, going 3 laps down. And I tell you what, that car looks pretty good for a car that's been upside down.
Absolutely, and here we go. Dominic Chisholm now putting cars between him and Isaac Shelley. He's put Mo Perry a lap down now. He's got that Dalton Creech right there in front of him. And what do you call that animal? That's a cheetah, right? Is that a cheetah?
Might be a tiger.
Tiger.
Stripes say tiger.
Well, he's got Creech here in front of him, and he's going to put Creech 2 laps down.
Definitely not as fast as a cheetah right now.
No. Well, maybe a little quicker than a cheetah, but definitely not as quick as he'd like to be.
Kralik trying to get back to the back bumper of Elvis here. Gets to the bumper coming up off of the corner, but Elvis with a strong run coming up off. Able to get a little bit more distance there, but seems like Kralik's a little bit quicker than Brandon Elvis is right now. Kralik looks down to the inside now. Had a nice run coming up off of 2. Gets down there, but I tell you what, man, using that apron, it's easy to get down there, to put your nose down there, but if you don't get the space, it's super tough to make a move down there.
Absolutely, but look at this. DeWeese is closing in here on Isaac Shelley. They got that lap car Mo Perry not too far out in front of these drivers.
Well, Thomas Green has chased down Braxton DeWeese.
Yeah, gonna close in on the battle here for second. And not to mention Elvis is there, Kralik is still there, Coleman. We're gonna have about a 5-car battle for a top 2 before too long here. You see Elvis up to the top shelf. Kralik now gonna slide it in. Okay, he's sliding it in on the pavement.
There. Yeah. Elvis gives him the space coming up off the corner, but Kralik is established. Now here comes Thomas Green up to the top side. This is all for second. Braxton DeWeese, what has he got going on? He's coming into the pits.
Fuel maybe? Is fuel a problem? Are we gonna see cars start having to come down? They've not pitted. I mean, Shelley and Chisholm and Green are all on the same deal. Chisholm's in
the pits. Oh my goodness, Isaac Shelley inherits the race lead. Thomas Green, Aaron Kralik, Justin Coleman, Steve Cigars. With 6 laps to go, these drivers are making pit stops for fuel. Dominic Chisholm pits for the lead. Isaac Shelley now in the race lead. He hasn't pitted either. Thomas Green hasn't pitted. The only driver in the top 3 who's pitted is Aaron Kralik.
And that was back on lap 2, so who knows if he's even...
Isaac Shelley gets a bump from Green, and around goes Aaron Kralik. Oh my goodness, what a phenomenal turn of events here in the last 5 laps. We've got 5 to go, coming to 4 to go. Here comes Justin Coleman to the outside of Thomas Green, trying to take second place away.
So new battle for the lead here. You got Justin Coleman right there now moving up to second. Coleman's probably got the best
Thomas Green's
field.
Into the pits. Justin Coleman made a pit stop at lap 52. He's probably in the best shape. Isaac Shelley hasn't pitted yet. We've got 3 laps to go, and this race has absolutely blown wide apart. Isaac Shelley gives up the bottom side a little bit. Justin Coleman looks down to the inside. Can Shelley make it to the end on gas? Steve Cigar sits right behind these guys. We've got the lapped car of Brandon Elvis after coming out on the pits. Just between these guys. 2 laps to go for Isaac Shelley. Shelley slow on the inside. Here comes Coleman to the outside. Isaac Shelley gets down next to the grass. Here comes Coleman to the top side with the race lead. Shelley may have sputtered. Coleman.
I mean, right now, Shelley is in the worst spot he could be in.
He's out of gas. Justin Coleman has himself a 3-car length gap, 4-car length gap. Isaac Shelley is out of gas on the bottom side. Here comes Steve Cigars for second place. Justin Coleman's going to come around turns 3 and 4. And in a wild finish here in the last 7 laps, guys running out of gas. Justin Coleman gets his first win in the Virtual American Short Track Tour here in Stafford. Steve Cigars in second. Danny Cochran comes home in third. Thomas Walter in fourth. And Christopher Smith in the top 5. I am absolutely blown apart, dude. I cannot believe what I just saw.
What in the world just occurred here at Stafford in the Virtual American Short Track Tour? I mean, Coleman just probably thinking to himself, well, what happened?
Yeah, Brandon just sent me a message saying it was fuel. And, yeah, we're watching Justin Coleman burn it down. Fuel ended up being a factor here after I was so confident it wouldn't be. It ended up coming down to a fuel mileage race, and these guys had to make pit stops here at the very end. Justin Coleman comes away with a race win. We're going to go ahead and talk with the race winner in just one moment here. Well, I tell you what, we'll bring Danny Cochran up in here because he finished third. He's the only one available at the moment. Corey, I know you want a winner. I'll give you a winner. But take Danny for me, please.
Hey, Danny, you got a copy on me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Well, what a crazy turn of events there at the end there, allowing you to get up to a podium finish. Just talk us through that.
Well, I had been, like, from the start of the race, I know it was going to be close, but I didn't know how close exactly it would be. Sorry, I was turning my volume down there. Anyway, yeah, I knew it would be close on fuel, but I figured since I was saving, most of the other guys did too. And then it got to about 10 laps to go, and Braxton goes, does anybody else show about 5 laps of fuel left? And I was like, oh, shoot, they didn't save enough to get to the end. So I was like, hey, we could pick up a few spots here because I hadn't been fast all night. I've struggled with this track. Really liked it in the late model stock in our Sportsman Series Thursday, but it drove a whole lot different than this did. But you know, I didn't expect come away with the top 3 tonight. I figured Dominic was going to get the win there. He had the fastest car out of everybody. Braxton, he had enough trouble as it was because he didn't have any audio. So sucks to see it for him and some of those guys that had to pit. Aaron had a really bad turn of events there at the end. He I seen him like stopped on the bottom of the track, but iRacing didn't throw a caution, so that sucks to see it for him. Isaac, I thought he was actually going to do it. I thought he'd save enough to get away with like a top 2, maybe top 3, because I was still a good ways back to the guys in front of me, you know. And then I see him slowing in that final lap, and we were able to get around him on the outside there in 3 and 4, and pulled off the top 3. I didn't expect to have top 3, and I didn't have that kind of speed, so I shouldn't even be having an interview right now because I was not that fast. But hey, we're here somehow, and pretty excited about it.
Absolutely, man. You are here, and that's all that matters. And you got anybody you'd like to thank here for your awesome fuel-saving, outstanding performance?
Yeah, Larry with Larry Arts Productions, running with me on the car this season. White Flag sponsor as well on a few races. So shout out to him for all he does in the league. All the other sponsors, of course, that have a part in helping this happen every week, week in, week out. It's awesome. Just the community we've built here, and it's really cool. Just the admins and everybody that helps put this on, you guys for broadcasting. It's always a show. There's no doubt about that. I didn't expect that at the end at all, so I know some people are going to be pretty unhappy about that, and rightfully so. But you gotta watch your fuel, man. You gotta keep an eye on it. But appreciate you guys. Congrats to Justin for getting his first career win. That was really cool to see. And Lewis Steve, yeah, he got second there.
Danny, we're gonna go ahead. We'll keep you in here for just a few more minutes if that's okay, because we can't get the winner or second place. They're not up in the Discord. I don't know how to pull them outside.
Well, shoot, I'll do an interview for them. Let's see here. Who got second? Steve?
You mentioned it was a little bit of a fuel mileage race, and some people might not be happy about it. I don't know. It really came down to a super wild finish.
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all, but fuel strategy races are always, I won't say fun, because sometimes they're not fun, but they're interesting. They're fun for somebody.
I tell you what, they're fun to watch.
Yeah.
Big fan of fuel mileage racing, that whole Greg Biffle, Jimmy Johnson, Mark Martin battle at the end of Michigan race a couple years ago.
I think it was Kansas.
Yeah. But, anytime you had, especially watching it is fun enough, but whenever you're taking part in it and you have enough, you're like, all right, who's going to be the next one to go down? And then you see them fall off one by one and you get a few extra spots there at the end. It's it's a lot of fun, but I hate to see it for Dominic, Braxton, Aaron. Those guys, they had a lot of speed tonight. They were looking really good for some strong finishes there. And Aaron is actually, he was saying in the Discord that he had the fuel to make it. So it sucks to see him get caught up in that accident.
Yeah, I kind of assumed he ran out when he got sideways there. I thought that was why, but turns out that wasn't the case.
Yeah, according to him, it wasn't. So we'll take him on his word on that. So hate to see it for him. But stoked for the Buddy's Custom Baits machine to get P3 tonight, because we sure didn't have the speed to finish where we did. We got a little lucky, and that's okay sometimes. It'll certainly help my point standing. Me and Braxton have been in a back and forth knockout drag out for the last the whole season, really, going back and forth, and that'll certainly spread the gap between he and I a little bit. But he's got speed. He'll make it a show again. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Well, awesome stuff. We appreciate you, Danny. We're going to go ahead and send you back to the driver's lounge. Looks like we've got our victory lane drivers ready to rock and rumble. So thank you, Danny,
Thanks, guys,
for your awesome commentary there and insight on the race. We'll talk to you next time. All right, now we got Justin Coleman coming up into the booth. And Corey, you said you want a winner. You got him.
Hey, Justin, you got a copy on me?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Well, Dirt Boy comes over to the pavement side. I'm assuming you're a Dirt Boy because you got a Dirt Late model there on your picture. Or
I'm a dirt guy through and through.
Good job, man. You brought her home in the win, but you're like what, 7th with 10 to go?
Yeah, I'm running 6th or 7th with 10 to go, and I'm just shooting for a top 5 at that point. And then they started pulling off, and I was like, oh man, we might get a chance to win this thing. I got up beside the 98, and I'll just try it on the outside. I kind of saved my tires a little bit, and it stuck and got around him, and I was like, oh man, here we go.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you saved the tire enough to put it on the outside of Shelly there, and unfortunate for Shelly, you ran out of gas, but maybe fortunate for you, right?
Right. Hey, good enough for me. I'll take it.
Hey, man, that's exactly right. Dirt Boy comes on pavement, takes away his first win here in the virtual American Short Track Tour. You got anybody you'd like to thank for your outstanding performance here?
Yeah, man, I thank my sponsors, Gibbs Brothers Construction and Parker Brothers Window Tinting. BH Homes Construction and my friends over at Bad Company Racing. They kind of took me in and taught me a few things about this asphalt stuff, and I guess it's paying off.
Absolutely, it definitely paid off for you. Good job on your victory here tonight, Justin.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
There you have it, folks. Your race winner. That's Justin Coleman in the 14 Scott Bloomquist looking car.
Thank you, guys.
All right, now we'll bring Steve Cigars in. Looks like he's deafened here, so we'll give him a couple of moments here. But fantastic race out of Justin Coleman there, getting the race win. We're riding on board with him as he's taking the checkered flag there. But fantastic drive for that number 14 machine, and super cool to see him get the job done. So we got Steve Cigars in here. We're just kind of waiting for him to get back and ready for the interview. Want to just thank everybody for tuning in so far. We've got a lot of people, Braxton DeWeese fans, Alan's Art Images, Chris DeWeese, Anton Farr, and Triple 3R says Tony's back. And yeah, Tony's back. Tony, one of our favorite, one of our most prominent commentators. He's, gotten himself back from some health issues, and we're very happy that he's healthy, and you guys get to benefit from hearing his voice and unfiltered commentary through and through. And I tell you what, I for one couldn't be happier, because Tony is one of the best that we have. Still waiting on Steve Cigars here.
And just waiting on Steve here to undeafen his microphone, unmute it.
Well, we had ourselves a fantastic race here at Stafford. We'll go ahead and go through the finishing order. I can't believe we haven't done that yet. It's been a lot to unpack here. We'll go over your finishing order here. Justin Coleman gets the job done. Steve Cigars in second. Danny Cochran, Thomas Walter, Christopher Smith rounding out the top 5. We've got Isaac Shelley, Aaron Kralik, Ollie Fonseca, Rob Pattenback, and Todd Lamphere gets himself a top 10. We've got Jim Duda, Braxton DeWeese, Dominic Chisholm, Blaze Richardson, Thomas Green, Mo Perry, Brandon Elvis, Dalton Creech, Dominic Rossi, and Sean Huffstutler unfortunately couldn't finish the race. But we got second place, Steve Cigars. Steve, how you doing, man? Thought we had him. He was undeafened, but Steve, you got a copy? Well, we're going to go ahead and unfortunately, some technical difficulties taking us away from our second place interview. We appreciate you guys sticking with us thus far, and man, we had ourselves a phenomenal race here through turns. Or getting ahead of myself. We had ourselves a phenomenal race here at Stafford, and can't thank you guys enough for tuning in here live on Sim Racing Media. It's been an absolute blast to cover this race, and for Liam Irvig and Corey up in the booth. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for tuning in.